to Homestead to Health. Welcome back to Homestead to Health. My name is Caitlin, and today, honestly, I don't have much of a point. In fact, I have more on my mind than I do on my to-do list. So today, we're just going to chit-chat. I was on the phone this morning with my friend Tate, and shout out Tate, and she's one of my very lucky 27 subscribers, but she's my friend. She's a really good friend of mine, and we were talking about my channel, and I brought up that with doing informational videos or like tutorials or anything like that, that it's great. I love doing those things. I would love to share what I know with other people so that you can watch me do something and think, well, that's not hard, and do it yourself. Or you can see me making a bunch of mistakes and go, you know, she's a normal person doing it, and I could do it too. Somewhere where I found that to be particularly helpful is whenever it comes to my animals. For whatever reason, I felt like I had to have veterinarian level education in order to take care of things like chickens and goats, things out of the norm of your normal pets. So it's good. It's good to watch people who are normal people doing this homestead stuff. A big goal that I have for my channel would be to not only just show you my journey about how living this lifestyle, being a homesteader, being more self-sufficient, how that would inevitably lead to me being a healthier person and a healthier family. That's of course an incredibly important thing that I want to convey to y'all. That's why I named my channel Homestead to Health. But what's actually become very important to me, and I guess I just really want to touch on it today. I don't know if I'm going to be able to articulate this in the way that I hope, because I'm very passionate about it, but sometimes whenever I have passions, I've got so much going on in my head that it's hard to get it out of my mouth. But basically what I could, the best way I can sum it up is I want to break this barrier between the idea that homesteading is for elderly people who live out in rural areas, or for people who are religious extremists, or kind of these negative lights, but mostly just old, outdated, no one does that stuff anymore, country folk or whatever. But also from the other perspective, if you don't live that lifestyle, you're referred to as like city folk, and also cast into a negative light. I really want to break that barrier, that wall. Because the thing about it is if you're a New Yorker and you live in the city, you probably aren't going to be homesteading anytime soon, keeping livestock, raising your own chickens or anything like that. But I feel like you can still be self-sufficient in the city. If you're a New Yorker living, you know, neighbor to neighbor, clutched in an apartment, you can still be self-sufficient. You can be self-sufficient in fixing your own shoes if they fall apart, or self-sufficient in the way that you bake all your own breads, you make all your food from scratch. All of that is commendable and notable. There's this woman that I watched a couple of weeks ago, and she lived inner city, and she lived a zero waste life, and I thought that was incredible. I don't live a zero waste life. I think that's great. I would love to learn more about it, and I would like to reduce my amount of waste greatly. But I see people like that, and I'm thinking, like, yeah, they're sufficient. They have to be sufficient. If they weren't so mindful about their footprint on this earth, if they weren't so mindful about what they can do for themselves over convenience, they wouldn't be able to live that kind of lifestyle. And so I feel like the self-sufficient mindset of a homesteader is for everybody. I feel like whether you're in the city, whether you've got 25 acres or 100 plus acres, I feel like there's something that we can all come to the same table and break bread over, and I just think that's great. And so moving back to my point, what I was making though is if I accomplish anything on my channel other than showing my own journey, it would be to build a community of just like-minded people. Again, no matter your circumstance or your level of self-sufficiency, I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like I have something to offer other people, and I feel like other people have something to offer me. So with that out of the way, business aside, I guess I really wanted to just talk a little bit willy-nilly, off the fly, out of the seat. because like I was saying, whenever I do these tutorials and whatnot, like they're all fun and good, but I feel like a little bit of my personality gets left out of the video. My girls, God bless them, sometimes I'll be filming a video and a little cockfight will fight out or break out over here, and I gotta stop everything so I can break that up. And so by the time I finally am able to film whatever I want to say, it's been rehearsed a couple of times. Well, not rehearsed, but done over a couple of times, and it feels rehearsed. And so it's easy to kind of lose the original charm that was put into it. But they're asleep in the car right now. It never fails my 2-year-old, whenever I wake up in the morning, she's always stretched across my back, and I wake up feeling like I was beaten with a, I don't know, like a bar of soap and a sock. Gosh, it's brutal. Last night was rough. So we don't have central heat. We use space heaters, and which is fine for the most part, but last night it was just particularly cold. And of course my blanket that goes on my bed was dirty, and it was in the washer because somebody got poop on it. And so I had every spare blanket in the house thrown on this bed, and I mean, like couch blankets and everything. It looked like we were sleeping in a Turkish bazaar. It was cozy eventually, but it was a mess. But I wake, because I put both girls in my bed so that we could penguin together and huddle for heat. But I woke up and I had one kid across my neck and the other kid was like between my knees, and I was like sleeping like I had fallen in slow motion. And I woke up this morning just feeling like just hammered death. My kids are wild, and I love them for it. I love that my children love me so much and that they want to sleep next to me like they do. But I mean, in the middle of the night, I don't have the same tender compassion that I have when I'm awake. I am a grumpy sleeper. So in the middle of the night, whenever I have a kid draped across my neck, I want to like just hurl them across the room, like get off of me. But it's okay. So my husband is gone for work a lot, and just the sheer constantness that parenting is, whenever it's just I want to run outside to do something, or there's this project outside that's really pressing, I have to put it off for a long time until I have help here at home that I can go do those kinds of things. So it can be a lot. Earlier I said that while I'm vlogging, my kids will like break out into a fight, and sometimes I just wish that like I could vlog and I could get my ideas out and I could talk how much I want to speak, and then that'd be it and that'd be done, and it not eat up several hours of my day. But I mean, that being said, I'm really happy, and I'm really glad that I have the life that I have, and I'm super glad that I get to share this life with my kids. So the next thing I kind of want to talk about is my weight. I'm just going to speak to you as if you're my friend. Like this tripod and camera is wearing a little wig, and we're super close. My channel, I like to talk about my weight and weight loss and my dieting. I'm gonna just be super honest and real, like no matter what. Yeah, oh my gosh, speaking of, I put a video out yesterday, and it was cheese making. Well, it was supposed to be butter making, and it turned into cheese making. And at one point, I'm standing at the stove. You should just know I'm so tired. I'm frazzled. My brain's always everywhere, no matter what. And I'm like, oh, this was $15, and this was $5, and then da-da-da-da-da. So like $13. Bruh, what? I was like, and so then later I'm watching it on TV, because it should have been $23 if you didn't catch my mistake. And I was like, man, I put this out for people to see. They're going to think that I caught a case of the stupid. That I didn't graduate school or something. But honestly, to upload a video takes like 5 or 6 hours. I wasn't about to take it down so I could fix a math problem that I got wrong in my, or a mental math problem that I got wrong in my head. So there it is. Apparently I am so unprideful, pat on my back, that I don't care if I look a little stupid. But anyways, I'm not ashamed to put out failures, is my point. So the failure I'm talking about right now, though, is that yesterday I binged, like to eat. I binge ate pretty significantly. I had McDonald's for lunch. I had a snack that didn't stop until like midnight, starting at 5. I think me and the girls, we both combed through like an entire bag of Funyuns and some egg salad sandwiches, and I just ate non-stop. I think I hear a baby up. Both my kids are now up and they're here with me, and about an hour later I'm back in front of the camera. So what I was about to speak on was my diet. I've been pretty transparent in other places, and I'm going to continue that. I weighed myself this morning with my husband on the phone, and I told him, like, I'm already back up to 232, which is only like a 3-pound weight gain. But for somebody my size to gain 3 pounds, I have to be consuming quite a bit of calories. But I think what really got me was that I get like scale happy, and I will get where I am weighing myself every single day, and like any bit of success that I have, say like I weighed myself and I saw that I lost 10 pounds. For some reason my brain works on like a reward system where I'm like, oh well, you lost 10 pounds, you can relax, go ahead and have that Snickers, girl, or whatever. And honestly, that's hurting me. So I've just decided that I'm going to start weighing myself at the beginning of the month and at the end of the month. Or I guess, yeah, the end is the beginning of the next month. Pardon me. Pardon us. Go ahead. So I just really want to be transparent in the fact that, like, I've gained weight, I struggle. Some of my triggers, I guess, that I have to overeating, because that's my main problem. Hey, some of my triggers to overeating, which is my main problem, is honestly my kids. I feel like such a cop-out saying that. But I mean, that's what got me yesterday. I was so stressed. My brake lights apparently at some point went out, and if it wasn't for this man who's just an angel who pulled up beside me and he honks and he goes, "Hey, your brake lights are out," and he helped me out there so that I knew that like somebody could rear end me with my car full of kids. So I had to go and handle that, and the whole time I've got my flashers on and I'm super worried. And then I go to the store, belated in the day, way later than I wanted to be, and the kids were tired and they were thrown off, and so they were extra. They were very extra. They were yelling and screaming and fighting over everything. And at some point, because of the stress of the situation, the stress of the day, I just think to myself, like, I just want a hot and spicy. I just want to go to McDonald's. I want to shove it down directly into my gullet, and that's all I want to do. I just want to be Jabba the Hutt, alone in my car, in the quiet. Like, my biggest fall from grace whenever it comes to eating poorly is 100% I just like having convenient food. I like having food that I can pull up, I can get, and I know that there's low calorie options that I could have. I get those options whenever I want to, but whenever I'm in the mood to like get a convenience food, and I'm also doing it to like medicate my levels of stress, or like in my head, no, you can't play with fire, don't do that. But whenever I already have it in my head that I want something just bad for me, because I mean, food is the same thing that cigarettes used to be to me. I used to be a smoker, and like, even though I knew that cigarette wasn't going to solve any of my problems, like, I couldn't wait to get a cigarette because it would temporarily make me feel better. And I just know that my relationship with food right now is not healthy if I can relate it to an addiction. So that all sucks. But it just brings me to the point that I'm struggling, and I'm probably going to continue to struggle with it. And I won't lose 10 pounds every single month. I probably am going to have to struggle for a long time. Something that I used to talk to my friends in Bible study about whenever I was in San Angelo is I would tell them things like, I like to embrace the suck. I like to know that, like, yeah, this is hard. Being alone with kids 24/7 an hour, or being alone with kids for 24/7, that's hard. And it sucks sometimes. Not that parenting sucks. I always feel like I have to slap a modifier on it. I like to know that, yeah, it sucks right now, but it doesn't have to suck forever. And it's not going to suck always, and you're going to miss how much it sucks at some point. I know that eventually I'm going to turn around and I'm going to see that this 24/7, very constant relationship that I have with my kids, it can honestly be very draining, that I'm going to miss it one day. And so, like, I like to appreciate the feelings, whether they're good, bad, or anywhere in between. And I like to know that it's okay. It's okay if sometimes you feel negative or you have negative experiences. I had to move to my yard so the girls could play. If you've probably heard me say like a million times while vlogging, like, oh, I don't know if I'm in frame or not, it's because I have challenges behind the camera. So the challenge that I face is that I don't have a front-facing monitor, so I don't know if I'm in focus or in frame. And that's really difficult for me because sometimes I am trying to teach how to do something, but also I just want to be able to talk and connect to the camera right away without it being like this big ordeal to get in focus and to make sure that I'm actually talking to the camera. I think things would run smoother if I just knew that I could point and shoot. And another thing is my camera, whenever it's recording, it doesn't self-adjust. So if I go from talking to you right here and I want to back up a couple of feet and talk to you some more.
I got lunch.
Thank you. You got lunch?
It's with you.
These are one of those very frustrating times where my family is so very much deserving of my attention and of my efforts. Everything's kind of like a balance, right? And so like you have to find the perfect balance between wanting to do for yourself and then wanting to do for your family. And sometimes I just want to scream at the world, like, everybody stop climbing on me, stop covering me in poop, stop doing these things. I wish I didn't have to edit this video for time purposes, and so my point can be made and can be conveyed just through witnessing how many times I've had to stop my videos on the accord of like my kids or my farm. And I don't want any of this to come off as if I'm complaining or venting or anything like that. I'm just trying to have a very genuine conversation that paints me as somebody who's very normal. My sister and I were talking yesterday, and we were talking about some of the YouTubers and vloggers that we follow, and we were discussing like how just so well put together and perfect these people were. I know, because of my own situation, I know what that is they've delegated their time and they've delegated their efforts in a way that like they can focus on these things that they want to do. It just so happens that right now I'm a team of one. And so I hope I don't come off as if I'm being negative or complain. And I get that I'm being negative. I'm speaking of negative things. Stop fighting, please. Anyway, I just hope that I'm not coming off, even though I'm talking about negative things, that I'm not coming off in a negative way. I really, really cherish my children beyond my own life. And I'm so happy that I get to wake up every day and live the life that I live. I love my life. I love everything in it. But I wanted to be very real about the challenges that I face behind the camera. And I wanted to let you get to know me a little bit more. I wish that I had more people that I could communicate with and express things. I really want to build a relationship here on YouTube. But moving forward, if there's anything about me, my farm, the way that I do things, the kind of person I am, if there's anything that you would like to know, I'd like to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Okay, so this wraps things up for me. The sun's going down on us, so I probably need to start cooking supper. I had a really good time talking to the camera today, talking to y'all as friends. If you're not already following me along at Homestead to Health on Instagram, you totally should. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see y'all later.